So here we are. We booked this cruise a long time ago, but we're finally at 30 days. So I just wanted to talk today about some things that I do to prepare for our upcoming cruise. First of all, when I hit the 30-day mark, that's when I start getting my luggage out, my lists out, and I start thinking about all the things that need to be done and prepped for us to go on our cruise and relax. So the first thing I always do is I actually have a cruise folder that I use. I keep all my important papers in here. I go ahead and I make a hard copy of our cruise booking, the itinerary, any extras I bought, Fast to the Fun, dining, if you buy excursions. I always print each one of those out. I staple them together. I put the date at the top, and I go ahead and I file it in my binder here so that everything is all set and ready to go, just in case there would be some kind of phone or internet issue when I get to the cruise port. Now, I know not everybody does this. I'm old school. It just makes me feel better. I've never had to use it in all the cruises that we've taken, but I always know it's there and it makes me feel good to have it. So that's the first thing I start with. I go ahead and I make sure that's all printed out. I also have a packing list, the same packing list I use every cruise, and I'll just reprint it. So I go ahead and do that. Now there's some important things, time-sensitive things that you should think about around the 30-day mark. Make sure to call for prescription refill. That way I know we have enough medication and I won't have to run around the last couple days trying to get refills. We both do wear eyeglasses, and just in case, I don't want any problems. You know, you could look overboard and they could fall. You could have a mishap out on an excursion. I always like and recommend a backup pair of eyeglasses. I also like to go ahead and get our car serviced. We always drive to the ports. We're not flyers, not yet anyway, and we always drive, usually 2 hours to 4 hours, 5 hours, depending on where we're sailing out of. So I always like to have the car serviced, and I'll do that. I'll go ahead and get an oil change and have it looked over. I also like to check all our IDs at the 30-day mark. Now, this probably sounds like, oh, that's way too late. It's actually not too late, in my opinion. I always have a date in my head of when we have to renew things, and I know sitting here today that all our IDs are good. But if you're a person that hasn't checked yours or thought about it, it still leaves plenty of time to go to the DMV and have a new driver's license done, or to go somewhere and have a birth certificate printed, or even if you need a passport, you can go ahead and get an emergency appointment for a passport. So that's another important thing around the 30-day mark. I verify if I've used a travel agent. I touch base with them. I just verify, even though I already know I'm paid in full, I like to just verify that. I like to make sure everything's paid, everything's running smoothly. I don't want any issues when I get to the port and I'm about to board the ship. So I go ahead and do that. And then there's the packing to think about. I already have in my head what we're gonna take, what we don't need to take, but every year I try to take less and less. We actually started out with 3 large bags when we first started cruising. And now we're down to 1 large bag that we both share. This time we will be packing our 2 rolling duffel bags. We can get everything we need in those, and I usually just have a carry-on that I keep my medication in. It's usually just a real small bag. Sometimes it's even a backpack. Okay. And the last thing I want to mention is your pets. Make sure that you have a verified, safe place for your pets to go while you travel. And always have a backup, just in case. You never know what could happen. So those are my tips that I start thinking about at the 30-day mark. I can't wait to get on the ship. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a year for us. We've had a child graduate, a lot going on with jobs. We're so looking forward to this cruise. So anyway, have a safe time traveling and enjoy your cruises. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed to the channel, we're newer. It doesn't cost anything. So anyway, those are some things that I do to prepare for our cruise at the 30-day mark. Put in the comments below what you do or things you think about when you're preparing for your cruise.